Hi Alex, thank you so much for joining me today on this
Hi,
interview. Can you maybe just introduce yourself and say which college you go to?
sure. I'm Alex. I'm going into third year at Mansfield College, Oxford.
Cool. So can you maybe talk about why you chose Oxford over Cambridge first and what attracted you to Mansfield College?
I think the reason why I was attracted to Oxford over Cambridge was sort of two parts. One was that they only offered PPE at Oxford, which was the course that I really wanted to go and do. So it seemed like a no-brainer. But also, I think I did hear a lot about how Oxford was generally better socially than Cambridge. So
Yeah, no, same.
I,
Same.
yeah, I just heard that people generally have a bad time at Oxford. So
Yeah, no,
yeah,
exactly. Like that was, I mean, I chose English and I think I even preferred the course at Cambridge, but ultimately I was like, I'm not going to go to a village. I'm going to go
yeah.
to a city, so I chose Oxford. Cool. So, did you apply for Mansfield College at all?
I didn't. I applied for St. Cat's and then I got pulled on my second day of interviews.
And had you seen Mansfield before you went at all?
No, I
Fantastic.
hadn't.
So, what do you think of Mansfield now? Like, do you like it? Are you happy you ended up there?
Yeah, I think like obviously I'm really really happy that I ended up there because I think whatever college you go to sort of becomes your home, I guess. I think I had a very different impression of it from interviews because I think a college looks really different when it's not full of people,
Yeah,
and I guess the people is what makes Mansfield anyway. So seeing our little cafe, for example, with literally no one in was like I was a bit like I'm not sure about this college, but yeah, it's great. It's great.
no, that's so cool. Yeah, no, so basically I applied for Worcester College, then got pulled to Jesus, then got pulled to St Anne's. But like I
Oh
remember
wow.
going to St Anne's like when it was really empty just before, and I just went and I was like, I'm gonna hate this. Like I won't like it at all. But it ended up being such a nice place. I suppose I don't know, it must be the same. I guess it's like the people that make it a Mansfield. I don't know. Do you think Mansfield has like a certain reputation or stereotype at all?
Um, I mean, I don't think Mansfield really has any sort of main stereotypes, like, for example, in the way that Merton would be really hardworking or something like that. I mean, the only, I guess, stereotype we have, but it's not really a stereotype, it's just like our amazing access work and like all the state school intake, which is just brilliant. But like, I wouldn't really like consider that a stereotype, I guess. But yeah, it's the people really. Like obviously the facilities aren't the best with it being like one of the poorest colleges, but it just I mean they're really not. I mean they are still really good, but it's the people that make it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do you know much about like the access work? Can you talk a bit about that if you do?
So I'm not that involved with it, just because I'm like involved with other parts of the JCR more.
Yeah.
But the access work is there's so much going on. Pretty much every week or a few times a week, we get school trips of secondary schools
Oh,
up
really?
to Mansfield. Yeah, and they sort of fill up half the dining hall every lunchtime. And then we have access officers who give them tours and show them around. So yeah, we just tend to encourage people to apply here, no matter what their background is within those trips. And then I think events like Unique, which is like the main sort of access, the main access company, I think they're all sort of held within Mansfield as like a central core because I've heard from loads of people they ended up staying in Mansfield. So like we host some of those people.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I mean, I don't think St Anne's is as good with access, but I do think I don't know. I think St Anne's and Mansfield are kind of on the same level playing field.
For more information on Oxbridge Colleges, subjects, and to get help with the application process, visit oxbridgeformula.co.uk. Click subscribe and ring the notification icon to be notified when we release new content.
That they're not the richest colleges. I mean, do you think there's much of a disadvantage personally for you that you've experienced with that?
Um, I don't think there's any real disadvantage personally because I think I mean, it's kind of just what size room you get and things like that. And I guess like that's not a big deal for me. Um, there's still loads of education grants at Mansfield and stuff. Like you can still get those kind of grants even though we don't have that much money. But I think a lot of other colleges do give out a few more sort of free grants, almost. Like you'll hear like stories of rich colleges getting a sort of 200 quid lump sum for no real reason. So I guess maybe that, but I don't really know how those work. And I don't feel like being at Mansfield has detracted from my experience at all.
Yeah, exactly. I think people maybe make it out to be a bigger deal than it is. Like, I was literally told that I don't know, the impression I got given was that I'd be entering like extreme poverty because St Anne's is so poor. It's just not like that. Like, I think accommodation is pretty standard across all colleges. Maybe you can talk a bit more about that. Like, how's your accommodation been? Like, if I'm correct, in Mansfield, you have to move out for your second year as well, don't you?
So in second year, I'll talk about second year first, and then I'd like to say sort of how it's been in general. In second year, you do sort of have to move out. It's most people in college are put in college-owned accommodation outside of the main site.
Oh.
So that's just over Cowley Bridge. So it's really, really close anyway.
Oh, okay.
So it's about half of second year in that block. Then a few people go into Cowley houses, but not many, like only a handful. And then there's a few rooms in college still available, but not many people tend to go for those because most second years live out. But in general, accommodation's actually been really good. I didn't expect it at all because obviously people were like, oh, you're going to one of the poorest colleges. I was like, oh no. It's been really good. Pretty much all first years get a room with an ensuite, with a shower. And if you don't get an ensuite, you get a bigger room, including like twin rooms, which are basically like 2 rooms in one. So yeah, that's really good. Second year accommodation, the off-site block in Cowley isn't amazing. Like, it's sort of modern box rooms with no en-suites. So it's quite like, it's not amazing. But obviously it's a really good atmosphere there anyway, so it's fine. And then in third year, you get really good rooms. So we've got the new block where you get sort of double beds en-suite with like really modern views, modern rooms with views of the quad. Either that or you get really big old rooms overlooking the quad. So I think it's really good, the accommodation at Mansfield.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, like, I had to share a bathroom with like 7 people or 8 people this year, just now. So I think it's so good that first years get en suites. Like, that's crazy. I think even
it's so good.
The richer colleges don't even have that unless, I don't know, is that balloted or is that like ranked, like banded accommodation where you have to pay more?
No, so all Mansfield accommodation is standardised, so everyone pays the same amount, which is really good. When you go in first year, it's completely random, and it'll be like 90% of you will get those like box rooms with en suites, and then like a few of you will be in some of the older blocks with big rooms but no en suite. So it's random, but you always get a really good room.
Yeah, that's so good. I mean, can you maybe talk a bit more about like the facilities you mentioned? So you talked about the cafe seeming a bit weird upon first impression. What's the rest of Mansfield like?
Mansfield's actually got really, really good facilities. One of the best things about Mansfield, I would say, is that we literally have 4 libraries, because we have a main library. Yeah, we have a main library, a PPE reading library, a law reading library, and a theology reading library. Wow. So, and anyone can go in all 4 of these. You know, you don't have to study one of those subjects to go in. So you can basically, unless it's exam season, you can basically always find an empty reading room, which is really, really nice. Other than that, we have kitchens in both of the sort of more modern blocks, in our E block and then in the Love Lane block. And that's one every floor. And they're like really well equipped and pretty spacious. Like, you can fit loads of people in there, whether that's for actually cooking or just like socializing and prees.
Are those like separate then from your rooms? Like, is that in a different building entirely?
No, so it's in, there's 1 kitchen per floor in 2 of the main blocks in Mansfield. So in the block which all the first years go into, there's 3 kitchens.
Got you.
And then in the really nice block the third years go into, there's 3 kitchens. And then there's kitchens in the off-site accommodation as well.
Got you.
So
and
like,
are those used a lot, or do first years mainly just eat like in hall?
No, they use loads. I used the kitchens loads in first year, and they were like, it was kind of, yeah, it was kind of where we hung out a bit in the kitchens, I guess. I ate in hall a bit, but yeah, I mostly cooked.
What's whole food like? Can you talk a bit about that? And like, I don't know if you have many friends who are veggie or like vegan and things, or if you are yourself, like, are there many options for those kind of diets?
Yeah, Hall food is really good at Mansfield. Like, I think it's pretty famously pretty good. The veggie and vegan options are really, really, really good. Like, there's always two veggie options, and they're really, really tasty. And I'm not veggie myself, but we have meat-free Mondays where it's just veggie and vegan, and the food is always really, really good on those days. And then the veggie options, like, sometimes I go for those on the other days because yeah, they're really good. But the only thing is, I feel like our hall prices are slightly more expensive than other colleges because they aren't subsidised.
Oh, okay. How much would you like pay for your average meal?
So a main average is on about £3. That's without sides, and then sides are about 60p each. So it is quite, yeah. You end up paying about a fiver to eat in hall, which I guess being in one of the colleges which doesn't have much fun, it kind of sucks. But
Yeah, that's actually surprisingly about the same as our Hall food. And also it does have a really good reputation at St. Anne's as well. But it's just peculiar to me that, like, I don't know, everyone was saying, yeah, food in Hall is so cheap. And in the end, I just found it so much cheaper to cook, to be honest. And
yeah, definitely.
yeah, because like you end up paying like a fiver for like 5 meals instead of for one. So I don't know.
Yeah, and like a lot of the rich colleges, you end up paying what, like £2 for 3 courses, and we're just like, three courses would cost you like £7 or something. I don't know.
Advantage. So you mentioned earlier that you're quite involved with the TCR. What are you involved in, and like what do you do?
So this year, you basically only get a chance to do a role in your second year because our JCR rota runs from like you start in Trinity. No, you start in Hillary, and then you do Hillary, Trinity, Michaelmas. So you can't like do it in third year because it would overlap. I've been ENTS rep for JCR in second year. So that's basically just, I mean, there's not a lot that I do right now because of Corona, but
Yeah.
I've organised our BOPs. I've organised our champagne and chocolates event, which is really, really popular, where you sort of pay a fixed amount and then you get unlimited cava and chocolates, which is good.
So good.
And then I did the joint BOP last term with St. Anne's, which was fun, in Fever.
I don't remember that one. What was it called?
It was St. Anne'sfield.
Oh, I don't know if I went to that one. I can't.
No, I don't think it was that well advertised at St. Anne's.
Yeah, maybe not. I know that we had a joint one with Hughes and then, yeah, one other college. See, that's the thing, like, at St. Anne's, sometimes the advertising comes out like 3 days before, and then you're like, oh, damn, gotta go to this BOP, but then you forget. I mean, what did you enjoy being ENTS rep this year? Like, were there any hardships that kind of came with it? I don't know.
Yeah, it was really, really good, and it's really rewarding when an event that you've organised just like does really well, and also raises a lot of money for charity in some cases as well. I mean, it is quite stressful, especially on the day of events. Like, we're trying to sort of pull everything together and pull it off, and we've got like the guy who's delivering all the sound and lighting equipment on the phone, and then like, you know, people messaging us for tickets and plus ones. Like, it is really stressful, but it's really rewarding.
What would you say has been your favourite BOP to organise this year then?
My favourite BOP was definitely we did 1920 versus 2020 when, you know, first turned 2020 in January time. And that was a really good one because like half the people were dressed in like Great Gatsby Roaring 20s stuff, and then half the people in these like crazy futuristic costumes.
That's so sick. Yeah, to be fair, I think Mansfield BOPs do sound quite good. I have had a few friends who've just randomly gone to Mansfield BOPs. I don't know how they get.
Yeah, we've the last BOP we had got completely packed because like loads of people from random colleges just turned up and like people invited them. So yeah, they can get really packed because our JCR is massive. So like there's room for like.
Yeah, I heard about that. Can you talk a bit about that? Isn't it? I don't know. Isn't it weird? Because I've heard that Mansfield is quite a small college. I haven't even visited it, and then you've got a massive JCR or something.
Mansfield's tiny, but our JCR is, I think it's the biggest in the uni, which is really strange. It kind of has school hall vibes,
Oh, really?
like when there's bops in there, but when there's not bops in there, like it's full of sofas and cushions and like a TV and stuff. So like it's really nice otherwise, but it is huge. Like it's like a massive hall. Like my mate came from home and he was like, "This is like the House of Commons or something."
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Does Mansfield have a bar as well, or is it just the JCR kind of area?
No, we have an official bar. Like it's a bar, but it's like connected to the cafe, so it just doesn't feel like a bar at all. It's just basically the cafe sells drinks out of a little window. I like it. Yeah, it sucks, but yeah.
So can you talk a bit about that then? So is it a cafe during the day, bar by night, kind of wannabe bar by night, or is it just always, can you always just buy drinks there, like alcoholic drinks?
That's the thing. I do think we are the only bar to serve alcohol during the day, because like you can just buy alcohol during the day, which is great if you've got exams and you finish at like 12 and you just want to celebrate in the middle of the day. It is weird though. No one goes like to the bar, like it because it's not a bar. It shuts really, really early, and it's basically just an extension of the cafe. So like I wouldn't treat it as a bar at all, but you can buy alcohol all day.
So where do you go instead? Do you just, I don't know, do you just go to someone's room, or do you go to bars in town or like other college bars? What do you do when you pre?
Well, like in general, Mansfield's really social anyway, so we just get everyone together and normally go to the JCR, just all buy our own drinks. I mean, it works out cheaper that way anyway, but like, and then everyone's in the JCR with drinks, and then there's like pool table and ping pong and all of that. So like, it feels like a bar, I guess.
It's like a bar anyway, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't. We've tried to get a bar a few times, but like the college is sort of against it for some reason. But yeah, I don't think it's like very detrimental to like.
Yeah. No. I feel like that's actually quite nice as well if you all kind of get together, because I mean Mansfield is quite a small college, isn't it? Like how many applicants does it have per year?
I think it works out to about 70, 80 per year, which I think is really small by Oxford standards.
And do you like that kind of environment, or do you wish maybe retrospectively you were in a bigger college?
Yeah, so there's sort of two parts to this. One, it's really, really nice it's really nice to know everyone. Like if you're in college, you will know everyone that walks past, which is really nice.
That's great.
And it means that when we do events that are like college wide, like they're great. And everyone is so lovely as well. However, I feel like I'm not saying there's not like-minded people like me at Mansfield, because there definitely is. Like I've got a decent sized group of mates, but I feel like there could be, in bigger colleges, you find bigger groups of like-minded people. For example, like I do a lot of like drama and musical theatre, but there's just not many people at all who do that at Mansfield, like one or two other people, if that. So I guess when you go to a bigger college, like you can find more people with the same interests as you. Whereas with Mansfield, it's kind of who you've got in like your 60 people for the year, like, and that's it.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, I suppose that's one advantage of like, because I go to St Anne's, like it is one of the bigger colleges. It's probably one of the biggest ones, which is good because I do feel like I found, you know, the stereotypical like niche of friends that I really liked. But then again, there is the disadvantage that I don't know half the people that I see. Like, I mean, there are a few interns that I've met on this internship and they're from St Anne's, and I'm like, I've never seen them before. Like, do you know what I mean? It's, I don't know, I feel like it would be really nice to have that kind of proper tight-knit community. I don't know. And so are you saying this is like inter-year as well? Like this whole...
Yeah, so that's the weird thing. I don't think there's that much inter-year sort of friendships and relationships like in other colleges, but in Mansfield there definitely is. Like we're really good mates with loads of the year above and the year below, which is really good.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what they were trying to build up at St Anne's this year. And I do think, you know, they have kind of got there, like, you know, George, Annabelle, Joseph and all them. They really did that. But I think they recognised that it was really difficult to do that with everyone because it's such a big college. So yeah, I guess it's nice that you can so easily do that. Okay, so just going back to like facilities and things, this is probably just more personal. So where do you like to work? Like which areas of college are your favorite to go?
So I think when I'm sort of starting an essay and not really working, I'll go to the cafe, which is called the Crypt, which is where basically everyone is all the time. So it's like a social hub, I guess. And that's where loads of people just basically do procrastination work, where you're not really working, but you're sort of pretending to yourself that you are. Other than that, I really like the PPE reading room, just because also it's probably got all the books for PPE that I ever need, usually. The main library is really nice, but it can be like a bit big and quite cold, and like I don't really like spaces like that, which are a bit like too big, like being in like a huge library. I'm like a bit no. So PPE reading room's really nice. The law reading room's really nice too. Other than that, I like to work in the social science library, which is like a 10-minute walk from Mansfield. So, or the American Institute is literally right next to Mansfield, and that's like one of the best libraries in Oxford, I think.
Do you have any spaces where you can chat in the library? Like, I don't know, like study rooms. So, you know, you talked about the PPE room. Can you chat in there, or is it working in silence?
It's meant to be working in silence, but what tends to happen is if you're the only people in there, like you and the person that you would chat to, then it's completely fine to chat. It's just like if someone else came into work, you would say like, oh, okay, I need to be quiet now. Mm-hmm. So they definitely have like talking and working vibes, but you're meant to stay quiet. So like if someone comes in, you can't just like talk.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, I think that's kind of the same vibe with like the law reading room in St. Anne's, I think, but I can't work there because I'm not a lawyer. See, it's more exclusive there. Like I can't just.
Oh wow, yeah, no, ours aren't like, yeah, it doesn't matter what subject you do.
Not the best. And then other than that, I just work in the old library at Anne's, which is nice, but yeah, honestly, get told off the whole time by other students if like we say words. So, you know, we do have other reading rooms, but they're in the new library. Mansfield literally has the best location. I was looking it up before this interview, and it's literally a minute walk away from all of the faculties, and like 5 minutes from like English, 5 minutes from law. It's literally ideal. I mean, how do you think? I don't know. Maybe you can talk about how you like the location and things, because it is a bit further away from the center of town. I don't know.
I feel like, yeah, like you said, it's basically the perfect location. Like it's like a 10-minute walk into town, which doesn't really feel like anything, but then like it's so close to, you know, the high street as well for like exam schools and lectures, and then like all the faculties are there, and the science block is like, I mean, I don't use the science buildings, but they're right next to us. We've got libraries like surrounding us, and we don't have to put up with like busy streets or tourists or anything. So yeah, I feel like it is the perfect location, not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, I think, to be honest, the more that I do this and find out about more colleges, like the more I envy other colleges. Anne's is a bit further away. Like it's, yeah. But it's a bit annoyingly long. So just returning to the whole library thing. So can you talk a bit about like your first year, if you can, I don't know, backtrack a bit. So how did you find your Freshers Week, if you can remember it?
Yeah, Freshers Week was really good. I sort of burnt myself out a bit. We just had a big group chat with everyone in first year pretty much, and we would just have like prees in the kitchen, and then just go to one of the like awful club nights that was advertised, and we just went to like all 5, I think. So like it was really good. There was always like people down to go out. So yeah, Freshers Week was fun. I was quite broken by the end of it.
Yeah, same. I went out way too much. Yeah. Do you think that you settled in then in Mansfield quite quickly, or did it take you a bit longer to find the friends that you were talking about?
Not gonna lie, I feel like the people I was really good friends with at the start, I'm still really good friends with now. To be fair, I talked to some of the people like on Facebook before getting to Mansfield quite a lot. Like my best mate, I was pretty much mates with before we got to Oxford. Yeah, which is strange. But I think the thing that helps as well is that our main friend group is the people that do PPE at Mansfield anyway. Like, I think we were just lucky, and that the whole group that does PPE is like a really, really good bunch. So that helped settle in, I guess.
Yeah, that is
Um,
because I mean I didn't talk on the Facebook group chats at all before I went. Like I found it really intimidating. But yeah, I would say the same thing. Like my best friends now are the people I met within like 2 days. I don't know. I suppose it's different for everyone though, isn't it? Like I know some people who haven't really found their friends till now or recently. So
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. And okay, so can we maybe talk a bit about like the welfare support that you have at Mansfield? I don't know if you've used it much, but do you know much about it?
I haven't used it much, but yeah, it's amazing. Like, it's really, really good. Being in JCR meetings and JCR bench meetings, like, I see firsthand what we do for welfare within the JCR, as well as like there's more in the wider college sort of staff. But yeah, we have welfare reps, and we have a welfare rep, we have a men's rep, we have a women's rep, we have an LGBTQ plus rep. And yeah, like all of them offer like really good support and are always there to talk to people. We run welfare events all the time, like welfare teas twice a week, where you can just come in and get a tea or coffee and some biscuits and just chill. We also peer support train loads of our JCR members, which means that they're all available for drop-in sessions, where they just say, okay, I'm in this room for an hour and a half, feel free to drop in and we can literally talk about anything, and it's like totally confidential. So I guess that would be really, really good as well. Yeah, we just have really, really good welfare provisions, and especially over like Corona, with the whole Corona pandemic as well, like they kept all of those running through like virtually as well. So yeah, we're really committed to welfare.
That's so good. Did you actually organize any events as ENTS rep online or like anything during Corona? And like, how do you guys find it as the JCR committee?
Yeah, not gonna lie, we had some plans, but we like a few, like we were gonna do like try and do a bop or something, but then we were like, it's kind of pointless. What we did organise was really good. So normally we'd do it in college, obviously, and we'd link it to one of our other events, which is the champagne and chocolates, and we'd do this at the end of it. So what we did was an auction of promises, where everyone basically says, how to explain it, basically says, I will paint a picture of you in watercolor, and then everyone bids for it, and the final bid goes to charity. So it's like you get like really, really high bids going to charity. So we organized that on Zoom. We raised like 300 quid for charity or something. Like, it was really, really good.
That's such a good idea. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know, that's good that you kind of kept that going, because I think it's so hard to, I don't know, keep the college spirit going virtually. I don't know, I found it a bit weird, but I think most colleges have done a good job, and it is a very unique time, I suppose. Like, I hope it's not going to happen again, but yeah. Anyway, thanks so much for your time today. I think that's all of the questions I've got to ask. But yeah, thanks for giving such an insightful look into Mansfield College.